tell me about your growth up to 21 people,
Okay.
how that's happened and, you know, where you've made mistakes and what you've learned from them and what you've done, you know, what you're doing differently now from a people standpoint.
People is the most challenging part. So we're at 21 now. As I told you, we're going to triple our square footage and probably double our employees over the next year.
Right. So that's what I was
when there's when there's 5 or 7 of them, you can manage them. 21 people have personalities and allergies and, you know, things that they love and things that they hate, things that they want to do, things that they don't want to do, and all this stuff. And it gets more challenging to navigate them. When I was a business and performance coach 30 years ago, here was kind of the way that we taught and coached, which was incorrect, by the way. Find the thing that you don't like to do, hate to do, aren't good at. Find the person that's really good at that thing and get them to do that thing for you. So we were really looking for a skill set. They're good at Microsoft Excel. They're a good engineer. They're not afraid of going up a scary ladder, right? Finding the skill set that fit. No, forget that. Boom, I throw that out the window right now. You have to have skill sets. But if that person is a grump, has a bad attitude, doesn't have buy-in or whatever else, then I don't care how many cheerleaders you have on your team, Carol, one grump will suck all the air, all the joy, all the fun out of the workspace. You think it's, you know, it might be one thing to suck the joy to Disneyland, but sucking the joy to work right now. So instead, what I really look for is a humble, fun, gentle, well-rounded, emotionally healthy human being.
Right.
Now, I will help that human being to learn or improve and help with whatever we need them to help with. Now, you still have to get people on the right seat on the bus. That's true, right? You still have to have the right person for each of those paths. But the most important thing is somebody that has a good heart and a good, healthy mental attitude and is easily coachable and can be a cheerleader. I'll tell you, people here laugh. People are laughing here so many times. I have to tease them about doing any work. And you know what? They're always working, but they're enjoying it. They're engaged. We treat each other nice. So something that I learned, to answer your question, was there was a time when I really looked for a skill set. While that's still on my radar, I'm really looking for a personality. I'm really looking for a heart.
It's really more important than skills.
It really is.
Skills
and you still want to be able to,
I don't want to negate
necessary.
That.
Of course. And oftentimes too, you know, what we learn here or there, you're going to do it differently at this new job. They're going to have their way to do it anyway. And that company wants you to do it their way. And so first of all, they probably never did it this way exactly before anyway, so some of that skill is left. And we want them coachable and humble enough to do it this way. And then you help them know later too that while we just ask you to do it this way, and it's not because, you know, we're stuck in the mud. It's because we've been doing it for 21 years and there's 37 different ways that we've tried this. And just stress us a little bit, have a little bit of love for us that this is the way that it's been the most successful with the most people over the growth. And so that's part of it. The other part is how do you recruit? Right now, one of the big challenges.
Find your people. Right.
So my people are our best recruiters. And so here's my dream. So you're at the barbecue, and you know the barbecue goes, you don't know everybody. You know a couple of pals. For the most part, it's strangers. So now you've got your Dixie plate of food, and it wants to spill. You got your little cup of wine or beer or whatever in your other hand, and you know you're trying to navigate. And when people come up to you, they might say, we're just trying to make small talk. I would say, well, what's your name? I'm Carol. Well, what do you do? And that kind of is the opening salvo, if you will, to create them some rapport and all that. Here's my vision. Somebody asks one of my team members, what do you do? Hey, I work at SATIC. I want the other person to actually go,
what's that?
Oh, you lucky. Do they have any openings?
Yeah.
Right? I want to be known for being a really fun, cool, engaging place to work. So that when other people hear about it, see our trucks, experience it, they know that would be a great place to work. And while I know, so downtown Missoula, Montana, I would say every other restaurant, I might be exaggerating a little bit, but boy, not by much. Every other restaurant has a help wanted sign in the window. Or oftentimes it says, hey, we might be a little slow. Please be gracious with the 7 people that actually came to work today.
Yeah, we get that here too. Yeah.
I have a stack of resumes on my desk. I have a stack. I probably have 13 people right now that really want to be next in queue to come work here.
Great.
Everybody gets $1 an hour raise every 6 months. Boom. Every 6 months, you get $1 an hour raise. As long as we make targets, as long as we meet the goals that we've put out, everybody gets that. We've not missed it in 4 years.
That's awesome.
In 4 years, we've not missed it. So people that have been there, they're making $8 an hour more. Our health insurance isn't crapola. It's great. You want to know why? I didn't want to have health insurance just to say you got health insurance. Just check that box. I'm not a jackass. I want a super low deductible. I want super low copay. I want the stuff that will actually, if somebody twists their ankle, makes sense. And I don't want the insurance brand. You hand that, you cringe. You know, it's like you're handing somebody the off brand. I didn't want that. And so I'm very cognizant of having really good, healthy snacks. I'm really cognizant of having great, recreation and play areas and stuff. And I think some people might fear that becomes a distraction. No, stop it. A happy, healthy person gets so much more done in the 4 or 5 hours that you really are clicking and engaging than somebody else does in 6 or 7. And that's, I think everybody hearing this deep down knows that's true.
Yep.
Maybe they just don't know how to get there. So one of the ways that I'm getting there is by not just saying I love everybody, but showing them and having a culture in my company that buzzes, that's award-winning, that draws people and compels them to want to be part of what we're doing down here.
Well, yeah, that's a really great point, BD, because I think that, I just had this conversation yesterday with a former coach of mine who I hadn't talked to in some time about, the importance of, just, and this word can get overused, just really being authentic with people, right? And showing who you are to them and your own challenges, because then people can really start to see, oh, this person gets it. They have challenges too. Right. And
yes,
I think that's one of the most important things that really any leader can do for their peers, subordinates, or up aboves,
Yes. When you say, that I was saying they'll do anything for love, that's got to be a give and take relationship. That can't be a one-way thing. They can't be afraid of you and stuff. I read a lot of performance books. I read a lot of leadership books. I devour them, actually. My favorite author probably right now on the planet is a woman named Brené Brown. And Brené Brown's about being vulnerable and authentic. And I just read Daring Greatly again for the second time. And Daring Greatly is about that. The dare is to be vulnerable, right? To be human, because we always want to put on this tough front and put on that mask a little bit. And that's fine. But if you want people to love you and to be loved and be lovable, you've got to be vulnerable. So yes, what I agree with what you said. Absolutely. And that's how you build that relationship.
Yep. In fact, it's funny you say that, because I said to him yesterday, I said, the first time I met you, and I was taking a course that he was leading, and he came out and he told a story about meeting his wife and so on and so forth. And he started crying, and I was immediately like, I don't want to say in love, right? Because that's a little bit too strong, but I was captivated. And the fact that a man could be up in the front of the room actually authentically crying over something, right? And not being afraid to show who he was. 20 when I started doing the work that I've been trained for, back in 1998, I couldn't have done that. I mean, I can now. I've been able to do it for many, many years, but it takes a lot of training, it takes a lot of work, and it takes a lot of, finding, having somebody who can help you find those blind spots.
Yes.
Right.
It takes courage.
You don't know what you don't know. That's right.
That's right.
So that's really fantastic. So I'm going to assume this, but I do want you to confirm for me. Would you consider that you have built a culture of feedback? And do you know what I mean by that?
Of course I do. And you only get feedback if they feel safe.
Right.
If people don't feel safe, either you get a bunch of yes men or people that also can't be authentic or whatever. So if somebody is going to come to you with something that can be done better or whatever, they've got to be safe. And sometimes, guess what? It's actually me that needs the correction. There have been a couple times when my leaders have come in and shut my door and sit down and and they kind of rub their knees a little. I say, okay, what do you got? And it's me that's aired. It's me that needs the correction. And I love that they trust me enough as a human being, as a fellow human being, to correct me. And that's how we all grow. I'm in the leadership role. I'm not perfect. I'm not infallible. None of those things are true. Are you kidding me? Forget about it. And if you've got the wrong person, right? And sometimes, being the leader will go to someone's head, and now they do start to think a little highly of themselves, right?
Look at the country we live in. oh, by the way.
Right.
Hello.
That's such a part of the culture too, isn't it? And that's a tragedy, really, even for the leader, because if you're not growing, you're dying.
That's right.
You got to be growing all the time. You got to be learning and all this stuff. And so,
exactly.
Right. I don't read all these books to stay the same. I read all these books to get better. Right. So the book, though, doesn't know what I'm doing wrong. When I read the book, it's kind of up to me to do the self-check and change it. I need those around me to point out my blind spot. I need those people that love me to help me get better too. It's crucial. And so if you start being offended by that now, then how can you grow, and how can you have any of them feel safe if you're so small now that you're going to be offended? And you got to be able to laugh at yourself too. When our VP came in, I'd really done a naughty. I had really just done something silly, and we laughed. We gut rolled, laughed at me. We couldn't help it. That just in a moment of not thinking, opened my mouth. And not only was he not in trouble for it, I loved it, and I knew. And as soon as he said it, I knew, right? And we laughed until it hurt. And so it ended up being a really warm, interaction between he and I that we'll remember 20 years from now.
Yeah, that's really great. What would you say? A couple final questions. What would you say are the biggest opportunities and or threats in your space?
So the opportunities, there's one other thing that I want to say about culture really quick before I answer that question.
Sure.
You can't expect people, when they come to work for you, to work there until they die.
Yep.
At 70 years old now, you're going to give them the gold watch off they go and all that stuff. No, they have their own stuff. They want to learn to play the ukulele. They want to get married. They want to live on a beach in Hawaii at some point. So you have to let them know that they're safe to have life and dreams and goals beyond these walls.
Of course.
So one of the first conversations I have is, okay, at some point, you want to go water skiing in Lake Tahoe or something. Just know I'm aware of that. I want to be aware of your goals. I want to help you get there. Let's put it on a timeline. You're going to help me as we stage you to this, and then I'm going to help you.
Right.
You're going to go with love, and we're going to send you off with a party, and I'm going to give you a little checky poo because I'm grateful. And anytime we see each other again in the future, we're going to high five. We're going to wave. We might even hug. Let's help you get where you're going.
Right.
If I help you get where you're going, will you help me get where I'm going?
That's right.
People love that. Okay. So the opportunities really are what I was talking about. Alternative energy is growing. It's not slowing down, right? It's only a few states really are rocking with solar. Wi-Fi, 4G, 5G, smart meters. It's here to stay, baby. It's here. So the opportunity is growing just because of the way technology is using. And I've really been kind of playing small in the American market. I'm done playing small, Carol. I'm building a facility 3 times the size because I'm ready to play big.
Good.
And that really means international. And serious threats are right now, I have a ton of components sitting in ports off Seattle. I got boats and ports off Long Beach. I got boats and ports on the coast that I can't get to quickly enough. And as I grow and expand, being able to get components, et cetera, do business effectively, that's That's a real challenge that I'm experiencing right now today, that as my business grows, will grow exponentially, potentially.
Yeah, interesting. Carol Schultz here. Thanks for watching this excerpt from Authentically Successful. The conversation doesn't end there. So if you want to hear this episode in full and all my conversations with many other successful founders and CEOs, please visit verticalelevation.com/podcast.